officers fired for playing a video game instead of responding to an emergency call. Here's ABC's Derek Dennis with that shocking video.
It's nice to have more Pokeballs and have the potion.
It's the video the LAPD took years to release. This patrol car recording of two officers playing the online game Pokemon Go instead of responding to a call about a robbery in progress at a Macy's in Crenshaw.
These calls are backing up.
On the recording, you hear the officers minutes after driving away discussing how to catch the Pokemon character Snorlax, ignoring the robbery call, even though, according to court documents, they were only 200 yards away from the store.
He catches everything. I don't catch everything. But you're still pretty high up there for not catching everything.
The officers were fired, but sued to get reinstated, their case going all the way to a California appeals court. The officers arguing their patrol car recordings should be dismissed because they were private conversations. But the appeals court disagreed and sided with the police board, which ruled the officers committed misconduct that was unprofessional and embarrassing and violated the trust of the public. The ignored robbery call was back in 2017, but the video just came to light thanks to a public records request. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
A teenager in Florida has been arrested after police found written threats for a shooting spree inside his car during a traffic stop. It was a 19-year-old who was pulled over on September 18th. They had a headlight that was out. According to an affidavit, numerous handwritten notes were found that threatened a shooting spree at his former high school. The suspect told investigators he also intended to go on a stabbing spree at a Miami church. He was taken to an area hospital to get mental health evaluations, but was later arrested on Thursday. He's been charged with intimidation with written threats to kill or harm another individual.
A rookie pilot surviving his first real emergency landing in Arlington, Texas. The 26-year-old who just got his pilot's license in May at a school in Grand Prairie got the unexpected thrill on Monday with a crash landing. He says it was likely due to a possible mechanical failure, so he chose an empty lot next to a warehouse. It proved to be a good choice. Since he survived, the FAA is now investigating the mechanical failure.
The United Auto Workers have decided to go on strike after rejecting that tentative agreement with Mack Trucks. 73% of union workers voted against a proposed deal made to them last week. The union's president said in a statement that he's inspired to see members hold out for a better deal. Many of the union's demands for Mack are similar to demands made with General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis.
The Nobel Prize for Economics has just been awarded to Claudia Goldin for advancing understanding of women's labor market outcomes. She's a professor at Harvard University and only the third woman to win the prize. This follows the awards in medicine, physics, chemistry, literature, and peace that were announced last week.
Let's take another look outside because, you know, for a Monday, it's awfully pretty. Not one of those murky, depressing Mondays.
No, not at all. We are seeing tons of blue skies out there, low humidity and comfortable temperatures. Tomorrow, though, there will be cloudy skies and even some rain in some areas as well. Now, we were talking about the solar eclipse. We are only 5 days away from the Ring of Fire solar eclipse, where the moon will move in front of the sun but appear smaller in the sky than the sun, which is why that ring of fire will appear. And just a reminder, it is never safe to look directly at the sun, although I don't know if you need me to remind you of that. Here's a look at the path of the annular eclipse. Midland, Odessa area around 11:45. San Antonio in the hill country 11:45 to 11:55, and then out into Corpus Christi by about noon. Now, the weather is going to be shaping up to look like it's going to be pretty nice with a mostly clear sky and temperatures right near 70 degrees. Now, when the moon moves in front of the sun, temperatures are actually going to drop by a little bit. It's going to be fascinating. So you're going to want to make sure to be outside and check that out when it happens around 11:50 on Saturday. We've got more information about that right now on KSAT12. But the reason why the weather is going to be so great is because we expect another cool front, which will lead to a gorgeous weekend. More on that and, of course, tomorrow's immediate rain chances in just a bit. Tiffany.
Thank you, Sarah. A troubling survey finds women with a history of mental illness are more likely to use drugs or alcohol in the months after giving birth. ABC's Justin Finch explains the importance of highlighting the need for mental health support during and after pregnancy.
3 a.m. feedings, dirty diapers, learning how to care for a newborn baby can be some of the most stressful times in a mother's life. And that stress, when paired with previous mental illness, can lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms. A recent CDC report surveyed new moms about their alcohol, tobacco, and illicit drug use up to 10 months after pregnancy in the states most affected by the opioid epidemic. They included Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Utah, and West Virginia. And the survey tracked prescription opioid misuse, tobacco use, unhealthy alcohol use, heroin, marijuana products, and cocaine. It found around a quarter of women use these substances in the 10 months after delivering their baby. New mothers with a history of anxiety and depression were 2 times more likely to use or abuse substances. That's risky because about 11% of pregnancy-related deaths are attributed to mental health conditions. Other stressful life events also contributed to increased risk of substance use. Close follow-up and support for new mothers may help limit risky behavior, especially for those with previous anxiety or depression. With this Medical Minute, I'm Justin Finch, ABC News.
Not all Americans have an equal risk of developing Alzheimer's, and unfortunately, the Hispanic community is at greater risk. According to a new report from the Alzheimer's Association, Hispanic Americans are 1.5 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's than white Americans. Experts say it's important to know the early signs of cognitive disease and what to do about it to try to prevent it. Research shows exercise, controlling diabetes, and controlling high cholesterol are keys to preventing Alzheimer's.
Just in time for spooky season, a new Goosebumps series is heading to stream. A preview after the break.
Have we met?
Nathan Bratt, I'm the new English teacher.
Goosebumps makes its return to television in a new streaming series.
The Boo House.
I did hear the horrible story about the boy who used to live there.
You know, I hear it's haunted.
Rob Letterman, director of 2015's Goosebumps movie, is an executive producer of the series.
I did the first movie, and then Neil Moritz, who's the producer on it, called me. I think it was like literally the week as the pandemic was hitting, and said, you know, I got the rights back for a TV series. Would you be interested? And I was like, yes.
This is all connected. He's getting revenge for what our parents did to him.
I love horror. I just have never really done it before, but I love, like, The Shining is a movie I watch like once a year at least. And to get to do something with visual effects, you know, all of that seemed really exciting to me creatively.
Oh my God, we're murder nepo babies.
Those books were really well written. They never pandered down to kids, you know, which I think is really important. They were compelling and scary and funny and had heart, and they were relatable, and they had universal themes to them.
It's time for them to learn the truth.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Halloween quickly approaching, and if you haven't spooked up your yard yet, here's the thought.
It's a huge decoration that has recently gone viral. Take a look. Now, this isn't a jack-o'-lantern. This is an 8-foot-tall, pumpkin-headed statue named Louis, and he has some words for people calling him a jack-o'-lantern. Take a listen.
I am not a jack-o'-lantern. My name is Louis.
Where did that come from? All right, so you heard it. Louis, the unlikely breakout star of the 2023 Halloween season, he has racked up 36 million views this week alone on TikTok. He retails for $180, averaging 4.9 stars out of 5 on Target's website. And speaking of all things Halloween, events are already underway in San Antonio, starting off with Zoo Boo at the San Antonio Zoo. This annual family-friendly celebration includes free trick-or-treating, live music, costume parties, and much more. SeaWorld also welcoming back families for the Spooktacular event, Thursdays through Sundays. If you want to find out more about these events and others, where they are, how to get in, all of that, head to KSAT12.
And San Antonio area tattoo shops are offering tattoos for $20 or less on Friday the 13th. Specials are thanks to a tradition that takes place on Friday the 13th. Pricing is usually $13. However, many shops have rules that require a minimum tip of $7. Some of the shops participating include Bernie Tattoo Company, Coffin Dagger Tattoos, and Curse Mark Tattoos. You can find out more on KSAT.com.
To get a tattoo of the solar eclipse.
It's just a round thing with a ring of fire, right?
We're so excited for that solar eclipse on October 14th. You take a look outside right now, it's beautiful out there and not too humid as well. Feels great. In the pollen count, the only hiccup is molds are still high after Thursday's rain. Ragweed, fall elm, and pigweed are all low. The aquifer is actually up 0.2 of a foot over the past 24 hours. And we have a chance for rain tomorrow. 40% coverage of showers and storms, even higher coverage south of San Antonio. Those details in the forecast coming up.
Have you picked your spot for the eclipse yet?
Not yet, but there's so many options. That's the good thing.
If you're in this Bexar County, pick any spot, honestly. It's going to be great. Yeah, it is. And I do think we're going to have mostly clear skies on Saturday morning, so that is good news. All right, go ahead and take a look outside right now. We do have some of those wispy, thin cirrus clouds. Weather fact of the day, cirrus clouds look wispy like that because they're made out of ice crystals. Yeah, fun weather fact. Doesn't feel like ice, though, down here at the surface. It's 76 degrees. Winds are from the south-southwest at about 10 miles per hour. Slowly turning to the south, and that means that we're slowly going to see the humidity rise, but not before the end of the day. The end of the day is going to be really nice. Our afternoon, we'll be looking at highs right in the low 80s in San Antonio, close to the seasonable average of 85. 81 in Kerrville. It's going to be 84 in Bandera this afternoon, 83 in Hondo, 85 in Nixon, 84 in Seguin, 85 in New Braunfels, and 84 in Canyon Lake. Then this evening after sunset, you're going to notice that the clouds will return. It's going to be cloudy by midnight as temperatures drop into the upper 60s. Those clouds will be arriving with a little bit of extra moisture. So it feels great outside right now because dew points are low in the 50s and in the 40s. But as you look toward this evening, dew points rising a little bit more. And then by tomorrow, it will be noticeably muggy outside with dew points in the 60s. That on top of the fact that it's going to be cloudy and there will be some areas with rain too. Tomorrow, the chance for rain is 40% in San Antonio. South of San Antonio, that goes up to about 60 to 80%. And here's the reason why. We've got some Pacific moisture that's going to be moving across Mexico, combining with some Gulf of Mexico moisture. And so areas south of San Antonio have the best chance for rain. This is a look at the futurecast for tonight when clouds increase. As we head into the early morning hours of tomorrow, there may be some sprinkles out there in the early morning for the commute, but any significant rain will likely be south of San Antonio in the morning. It isn't until after lunch that we start to see our rain chances go up around San Antonio, particularly along and south of I-10 and Highway 90. Highway 90 goes from San Antonio to Del Rio. So areas south of that will be having the best chance for showers and maybe a rumble of thunder, but we're really only looking at more of a rain chance than a thunderstorm chance. And this is a look at tomorrow evening, right at around the evening commute. That's when we have the highest rain chances in San Antonio in the evening commute and in the late night hours. Again, better rain chances along and south of Highway 90 for areas like Victoria, Beeville, Cuero. Those are the areas that have the best chance for rain tomorrow. But San Antonio is included, about 40% coverage. And then this is a look at midnight tomorrow night into Wednesday. So again, rain chances are going to continue in the evening as well. As to how much rain we could see through Wednesday morning, morning, well, very little up across the hill country, little to no rain across the hill country. Less than 1/4 of an inch for areas like northern San Antonio, New Braunfels, perhaps up to 1/2 an inch of rain to an inch for Pleasanton, Pearsall, Eagle Pass, and out toward Victoria. The real area of decent rain is going to be from Laredo to Corpus Christi, where up to 2 inches of rain could fall. Now, even if you don't get rain tomorrow or don't get as much rain as you want, it is going to be cloudy all day. That's going to keep our temperatures down. 75 for the high tomorrow. And Wednesday, mostly cloudy and 82. Thursday, we do get warm and a little muggy too, with a high near 90. Then we're going to see a front move through just before it can get too warm. And it's that front that is going to set up a beautiful weekend. We're talking our coolest mornings that we've had in a long time. Highs in the morning lows in the low to mid 50s, and highs will be in the 70s. That front is also going to help to clear skies for the solar eclipse Saturday mid-morning into Saturday afternoon, guys.
Lovely. Thank you, Sarah.
Out of this world inspiration. After the break, an astronaut's inspiring message during this Hispanic Heritage Month.
Hispanic Heritage Month, we are learning more about former astronaut Jose Hernandez.
As ABC's Melissa Dawn reports, he is hoping the movie about his life inspires the next generation of astronauts, especially young Latinos.
210, we have a liftoff. The 1972 Apollo 17 mission marked the most recent occasion where humans walked on the moon.
It's got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you.
Ma, ¿por qué sirven las estrellas?
This moment, recreated on the screen in Prime Videos a million miles away, was the foundation for Jose Hernandez's big dream.
If you could picture a 10-year-old boy kneeling down, watching a black and white TV antenna, watching Gene Cernan walk on the moon, I said, man, I want to be like him.
After earning degrees in engineering and working at the Johnson Space Center, he was chosen to go to space in 2009 as a mission specialist. But getting there meant sacrificing and facing ugly truths.
You know, I remember the very first time I felt discriminated at school. I went home and complained to my mom. And my mom said a phrase that I'd never forget. She said, mijo, mátalos con el amor. Kill them with love. And the plain reality is that you do have to work harder to get the same amount of credit.
And I want to ask you, was it worth it?
Being able to see the Earth from a unique perspective, you know, this is a little over 500 people have had that privilege out of 7 billion. I mean, this is a privilege bigger than being a president of a country or a NBA or NFL football. I mean, the odds are a lot harder. Yes, of course it was worth it. Absolutely.
You light up when you're saying that you're speaking to schools or engagements. Why is that so important to you?
Kids see people, someone that looks like them, you know, brown skin, speaks English with an accent, came from humble beginnings, and I want them to feel empowered and say, if he could do it, why can't I?
Melissa Dawn, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Great guy.
Inspiring
very
story.
Inspiring. Have you ever seen the movie Hocus Pocus? It looks like the Sanderson sisters are about to take over SA Live.
Mike and Fiona, what's going on at Market Square?
Happy Halloween, everyone. So a strange thing happened earlier today. We found this black candle in the SA Live office, and when we lit it, this kind of black flame appeared.
And then this started happening, and we all started feeling a little bit funny.
Just a little bit, yeah, you know, so it's probably going to be an interesting day, yes, but, you know, we can guarantee it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yes, there's going to be lots of magic as well, because a local magician came in, he pulled out all the stops. He left us speechless and a little frightened with one trick, and I seriously thought I was going to hurt him. You have to see how he mixes magic and scares us with Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween, are you getting ready for your spooky parties tonight? We've got some great quick and easy treats and decoration ideas. It's all using things you probably already have around the house, which is perfect since we are hours away from trick-or-treating, you know, so just boo it yourself.
Hey! She'll be here the rest of the week, folks. And you want to become an expert potion maker? We're mixing up concoctions for grown-ups and kids that look and sounds more like magic than just something to sip on that's tasty. Don't go anywhere, because SA Live's Hollow Witch Special is just moments away.